What is going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the Broke to Brokers YouTube channel. I want to share some information with you, some things that I found kind of interesting about Lunar Intuitive Machines stock. We're going to talk about a few things because they have a launch coming up on February 26th, literally this week. Actually, in just 2 days with the video going live today. So I did want to talk about it because it's one of the bigger catalysts that we have news-wise for this week. So let's first start off with last year. That's why I have this pulled up. The IM1 launch. Excuse me, not lunch. I would like some lunch. So the launch of this was really interesting. I mean, it launched on February 15th. But the thing about it is it takes a long time for these lunar spacecrafts to get all the way to the moon. Um, in fact, IM2 is not expected to reach its where its trajectory is heading, and that's going to take it about like 9 days. So this thing's going to be flying for quite a while, and the reason I bring that up is because the price is really interesting. A lot of people are talking about the launch, and they think that that's when this thing's going to go catastrophic. I really don't think so in terms of this stock because um, it really dwindles on whether it's successful or not. We'll kind of back up again here. I don't do a lot of technical analysis. I kind of don't believe in it ultimately. But this kind of feels like it could possibly rhyme. I know my hair is wild. Sorry about that. I don't know. Crazy day. Yeah. Like I said, a YouTuber I watch, he says that history doesn't often repeat, but it does rhyme. So let's take a look back at February 15th of 2024. That was around here. So this was February 15th. Um, it had a pretty, I mean, it's still a bullish day, right? February 15th, it went up from 518 all the way up to 680. It almost actually went up about, I want to say like, 20% or something like that. But I mean, look at all these gains, right? So that's what I'm kind of getting at is like launch day, everybody's kind of putting in hype about, oh, it's, the launch has to go well. And that's true. Like there can't be delays. They'll further bring, negative pressure to the stock. But if it is launching on the 26th, we could see it look similar like this, where it's going to be traveling for quite a long time. And if it's reported that it's, on track, if, it gets into lunar orbit or, all these milestones, these are going to create a lot of buzz, especially considering these are pretty high-tech lunar air spacecrafts. They have all types of sensors and cameras on them. So we're going to be able to see, live feedback on what this thing looks like. They even will send down like a camera drone so it will get a hopefully video footage of the lunar coming down. So there's all these different plans for, the actual landing and all that, which probably wouldn't take place, 9 days after the 26th. We're looking at like March 7th. So literally like a 2 week hold is kind of a potential here, especially even longer after that. If it's successful, we could see another surge in the price. These are all speculations. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't really do technical analysis when it comes to charts, but like I mentioned, with this type of event, it's going to take a while. So a lot of people are under the notion, oh, it has to do well in 2 days by the launch date. It could sit at $18 and that would perfectly be fine, which is where we're at now because in my view, this thing probably won't take off until the bullish news coming from, the conclusion of the flight and the actual mission itself. That's where the positive news could come from. If this thing touches down without a hitch, and it's phenomenal and successful and all that, we're going to. I mean, it's just fact. We're going to see buy pressure on this stock. But it will take quite a while for that, whole thing to go on. 2 weeks Could see it drop further. Could even go down to $12 with everybody just selling the launch. You never know. This thing could sell down all the way to $12, then jump up again. Like, I mean, we saw that just a couple days right before the first launch. There was so much hype in that first week before the launch on the 15th that it actually already went up to like 680. But then it sold down, right? Like you look at the day right before, it was at its lowest of that week, all the way down at 466. And if you would have sold a day before the launch, because you're like, there's no way this thing's gonna take off now. Like if people are selling the day before the launch, if you sold at $4, you're gonna be kicking yourself. Up there at what, $13? You're gonna be kicking yourself. So I just wanted to bring this video kind of to talk about that because a lot of people feel like it has to go up now. It has to go up now. I'd say this is probably like a buy and kind of wait a little bit and kind of feel it out a little bit. I mean, obviously never invest more than you can lose, but that's kind of my feelings about it. Again, I'm not very analytical with all these different things, but let's look at the numbers because the numbers are very interesting with this stock. I mean, look at the growth, the revenue growth. 359%. We haven't seen anything like that ever in the history of this stock ever since 2021 at least. It's only been up for a couple years, so that might be the beginning. But as you can see, these growth numbers are absolutely freaking wild. These are quarters. They're bringing in 73, 42, 58. And you better bet that if this mission is successful, they might even ramp up value for IM3 to they might even get more awards from NASA or numbers of different lunar, because they also they fly other payloads to lunar orbit. If this thing is successful, there's probably going to be all sorts of new partnerships. Who doesn't want to be one of the first establishing companies bringing tech to the moon? I know that Nokia, for example, is going to be ride sharing with Intuitive Machines to build the very first lunar satellite data connection communications on the moon, which is going to be needed because, as we know, Starship is planning first to go to the moon successfully after it's engineered successfully. I know we're still in the first 10 starships ever built, so it's still being pioneered, but after that thing is developed and can withstand long trips into orbit, we're going to see the first trips to the moon. Let me take a look at that, like, because I think that's estimated in like 2027. When will Starship launch to the moon? I believe that's what I saw when I first was doing some research on this. Yeah, they said no earlier than mid-2027. That's the NASA's Artemis 3 mission. It will use Starship as the human landing system. It's going to bring people back to the moon since 1972. And I think that's absolutely mind-boggling that we're in another space race right now. I thought we missed it. I thought it was all just textbook stuff that we wouldn't come back to these times. But I mean, we're living in history, baby. I mean, if this doesn't make you excited, like forget stocks, forget money you could be making. To me, this is just really exciting, pioneering in engineering. The U.S. is going back to the moon, dude, in just a few years. So, and of course, Intuitive Machines right at the cutting edge of that, which I think is really special. I'm not really going to talk about too much else besides the fact that there was news reported of Lunar Intuitive Machines basically giving shareholders their warrants to buy back stock at like $10 or something. It was really cheap. $11.50. So they're basically forcing them to do that by March 6th to redeem these shares. Otherwise, they will be like basically voided. So that may put some sell pressure onto the stock, but in my opinion, it's only been going up, right? Like if you look at the entire trajectory of what the heck, dang, Yahoo Finance's chart system's crazy. It's steadily only gone up since August. So in just 6 months, this thing went up from, yeah, like $4, 350 all the way up to 18. A pullback is going to happen. I don't know if it'll pull back much more than where we were at an all-time high around 24, but only reached that height once. It was at 22 for 2 weeks. So maybe this is the pullback. We don't know, right? But again, I just wanted to share these thoughts with you guys. Let me know what you guys think of Intuitive Machine stock for this week. I think it's looking pretty good myself. And as always, it's been Cameron on the Broke to Brokers YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button and like. Thank you so much for watching. Peace and butt grease. Deuces.